Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To start out, I just want to kind of make it clear, I too am concerned that the Small Business Advocacy Group didn't get a chance to provide comment. I think that with further debate, we might have gotten more clarification on the need for this rule. But Ms. McCutcheon, right now the rule sits at $11 and I think 38 cents an hour. In North Dakota, the extension agency at NDSU does a study. They do a study that involves a single mom, 2 kids, living in a very modest apartment with a very small car, spending only, I think, $50 a week on clothing. How much do you think they calculate in Fargo she needs to earn to make ends meet in a 40-hour work week?
I'm not aware of that study, so I do not know.
Okay. Well, I will tell you, it is $24 an hour just to make ends meet. So what do you think the numbers should be?
I think the number should be 35,000, but let me point out this.
But how do you calculate that?
Based on past methodologies and the data that we have about wages in lower income states and small businesses. I will point out, please, that North Dakota, under their state law, if it makes sense in the economy in North Dakota, can adopt a higher salary level, as has New York and California. New York at 35.1 and California at 41.6. And so if that, but what works in North Dakota will, at that level, probably will not work in Louisiana. And that's why the federal level has always been set at a lower level to exclude only.
But I am telling you that economists in North Dakota have looked at what would be, in fact, a 40-hour living wage for a single mom, and they have calculated it at $24 an hour. And that's the challenge that we have here. I mean, we've got a process problem with this rule, but we have an economic problem for middle-class families in this country who struggle every day to make ends meet. And think about this, that same mom, if she works in a salaried position, she can't get a second job if she's working 60 hours a week. So she's stuck. In fact, she's worse off. And the other, I think, point that we need to make is that no one is telling anyone that they have to go on an hourly wage. No one is saying that. They're just saying if they're a salaried employee making less than this, they can only work 40 hours a week, right? Is that correct analysis?
Correct.
Actually pay overtime to salaried workers.
Right, but
And we
right,
do.
right. I mean, my point is that I don't think that we have enough information. And so I am a little disturbed by the process here, because I don't think that we really know how many people will be impacted by this and what the consequences will be. I'm concerned about what happens in universities. That's who I've heard from the most. I am concerned about what happens in nonprofits where people have to be on call. People who work with the homeless, people where it's very difficult to calculate what in fact would be their hourly wage. So I think we've got some issues with this rule. But I think we have to acknowledge that what we have here is a dramatic problem with people not working as hard as they know how to work, getting up every morning and doing a great job and getting further and further behind. And you don't have to look any further than this presidential campaign to understand the challenges and the I think, insecurity that Americans' families feel in these kinds of situations. And so where I share the concern, and I think Senator Scott has expressed some concern about process, I share the concern about process. I think this is a pretty dramatic increase to do in a way that doesn't allow full analysis and full response. But I am concerned about the general overall maybe attitude that suck it up, workers, just work harder and you'll get further behind. And oh, by the way, if you work in a nonprofit where you do tremendous benefit for society, you should even get paid less. So it's a real challenge that we have here. So I think that we need to put this in the perspective of what this hourly wage is and what it means for an American family. And I think $24 an hour for somebody who works 40 hours a week and is struggling You know, maybe they should have an opportunity to get a second job, and that's not exactly possible when you're working 60 hours a week.